In 1989, New York City was experiencing one of the highest crime periods in its modern history. The city recorded thousands of violent offenses each year, and public concern about safety had become a dominant political and social issue. Residents regularly encountered news reports involving assaults, robberies, and homicides. Public discussion often centered on the perceived breakdown of order and the demand for aggressive policing strategies. Central Park, while an important cultural landmark, reflected many of these concerns. After dark, certain areas of the park were considered unsafe, and police regularly responded to reports of criminal activity. On the evening of April 19, 1989, multiple groups of teenagers entered Central Park from the northern section near Harlem. Some members of these groups engaged in disruptive behavior, including shouting at pedestrians, throwing stones, and interfering with cyclists. Police later referred to this activity as a series of loosely connected incidents occurring across different areas of the park. Throughout the evening, police received multiple 911 calls reporting disturbances. Patrol officers were dispatched to investigate. At approximately 9 p.m., a 28-year-old woman left her apartment on the Upper East Side to go jogging. She entered Central Park near East 61st Street and proceeded north along the park's pathways. Sometime between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock p.m., she was attacked near the northern end of the park, close to the reservoir. The victim was struck repeatedly in the head, dragged into a wooded area, sexually assaulted, and left unconscious. The assault resulted in severe physical trauma. At approximately 1:30 a.m. on April 20th, a passerby discovered her lying in the grass. Emergency medical personnel were called to the scene. She was transported to Metropolitan Hospital in critical condition. Doctors determined that she had suffered skull fractures, significant blood loss, and hypothermia. She was placed into a medically induced coma. When she regained consciousness days later, she had no memory of the attack or the events leading up to it. Because the victim could not provide information, investigators relied entirely on physical evidence and witness statements. Police attention quickly returned to the teenagers who had been detained earlier in the park for disorderly conduct. Over the next 2 days, numerous youths were brought in for questioning. Interrogations took place at several police precincts. 5 teenagers became the central focus of the investigation. They were Antron McCrae, Kevin Richardson, Yusuf Salam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise. Their ages ranged from 14 to 16 years old. The teenagers were questioned for extended periods. Some interrogations lasted more than 12 hours. Parents were not present for portions of the questioning, and attorneys were not provided during most of the process. During these interrogations, police presented the teenagers with statements attributed to others and suggested explanations for the crime. Eventually, each teenager provided a videotaped statement recorded after many hours of questioning. In these recorded statements, the teenagers described varying degrees of involvement. Some claimed to have witnessed the attack, others stated they participated in surrounding events. The accounts differed significantly in critical details. Descriptions of the victim's clothing varied. The timing of the attack was inconsistent. The physical actions described did not align with medical findings. Medical examinations indicated that the assault was committed by a single attacker. Semen recovered from the victim was preserved for forensic testing. The DNA did not match any of the 5 teenagers. No fingerprints, hair samples, blood traces, or fibers connected any of them to the crime scene. Despite the absence of physical evidence, prosecutors moved forward with charges. The case developed during intense media scrutiny. News coverage was constant, and public interest was extremely high. Headlines emphasized violence and disorder. Public officials spoke openly about the case before trial proceedings began. The 5 teenagers were charged with multiple offenses, including assault, robbery, riot, and forceful entry charges. In 1990, the case went to trial in 2 separate proceedings. Prosecutors relied primarily on the videotaped confessions to establish guilt. They argued that the attack occurred as part of group activity in the park. Defense attorneys challenged the reliability of the statements. They pointed to inconsistencies, the length of interrogations, and the lack of supporting forensic evidence. Jurors were shown selected portions of videotaped confessions but did not see the full interrogations that preceded them. After deliberation, the juries returned guilty verdicts against all 5 defendants. Sentences ranged from 5 to 15 years in state prison. Corey Wise, who was 16 at the time of the incident, was tried as an adult and received the longest sentence. The convictions were reported nationwide. Many media outlets characterized the case as solved. The victim continued long-term recovery but never regained memory of the assault. With sentencing complete, the legal process appeared to have concluded. However, unresolved contradictions within the evidence remained on record. Those contradictions would not be revisited for more than a decade.